Hey, so, Onward. And I know you forgot about this movie because the advertisement for it literally didn't exist. But it's Pixar, so I went and saw it anyways. My theory is that Disney didn't like it and wanted it to fail, or Bloomberg bought up all the ads. I don't know, but my point is, I saw it. So here's the deal. Onward is a 2020 family fantasy adventure movie starring Chris Pratt and Tom Holland as elves. So in this world, magic exists, but it basically went extinct due to technology being way easier to use. And now it is the 20th century and it's Tom Holland's 16th birthday. Ian is a timid, friendless, fatherless loser. His older brother Barley is a bold, unemployed nerd who loves the past, adventures, and historically accurate D&D. And on his birthday, Tom Holland tries to improve himself and be more bold like his father. But due to him having zero social skills and Chris Pratt coming along and embarrassing him, he goes home depressed and sad. At this point, to cheer him up, his mother goes and gets the boys a gift from their father who had left a magical staff, phoenix stone, and a letter describing a spell that would let their father come back to life, but only for one full day. They're happy until Chris Pratt realizes he can't do the magic because he doesn't have any magic juice, and Tom Holland returns to being sad. Later that night, Tom Holland tries to do the spell again and almost pulls it off, but screws up and breaks the stone. Then, most of the movie is Chris Pratt and Tom Holland go on a quest to find a new Phoenix Stone before the 24 hours are up and Tom can never meet his father. Hijinks and bonding ensues. So let's get this out of the way. I like this movie. It isn't in like the upper level of Pixar movies like WALL-E, Toy Story, or Ratatouille, but it's definitely better than anything they've put out recently. There's a real sense of magic and human subtlety that's a nice change of pace. Now it is rather formulaic in the middle with the obvious, non-obvious choice being the ones that are chosen, but the ending it lands upon is satisfying even if it lacks the subtlety which is so prevalent in the previous scenes. And while not overly predictable, it feels like it could have handled the major story beats better. It slapped the audience in the face with some important information a few times, which is, now that I think about it, weird because a large part of this movie is non-verbal subtle communication. And I think this is its greatest flaw of the movie. It has a number of scenes that are clearly pandering to kids, which is fine because it's a kids movie. However, these don't really help much with the story and only have minor character development. It's not like WALL-E or Toy Story where every side character is, a real character. But that doesn't matter too much. Tom Holland lacks a lot of confidence needed to use his magic. Chris Pratt, on the other hand, has a strong passion, but can be immature and non-traditional. The dynamic is entertaining to watch and changes pretty reasonably over the movie, despite some minor inconsistencies. The real conflict comes from the competing character traits, and most of the conflict in the movie is kind of pointless filler. There's a whole subplot with the Manticore and the mom about some random curse which could have been completely removed because the movie only really cares about the boys. And it's a shame because this could have either cut down the movie by 20 minutes or given more time to explore the main characters. But the thing I hate about this movie, I mean really hate, is the middle. It nails the start and the end, but the middle adventure is just weak. Due to the setting being a normal, modern society with magic creatures, there's not really much in their way of achieving their goal. The way they create conflict is just irritating. They get attacked by a gang of midget pixies. The pixies' whole existence is a joke. They have no character besides being tough, but it's funny because they're little, small fairies. Except the thing is, they aren't funny. It's just irritating and something you'd expect out of a worse studio. It's really lazy. And right afterwards, the boys have a run-in with the cops, and while the scene has some real character development, it suffers from the same problems. Lazy jokes are drawn out for too long. It's over-dramatic with no real stakes, because we all know that the real danger comes from the conflict between the brothers and the magic curse, which is kind of crazy because they have a literal pair of feet that has more subtlety and character than people with actual lines. It's just upsetting. Okay? Ready. I like the ending. When Tom Holland realizes that he'll never get to meet his dad, but he always still had a role model in his brother. It's really sweet and totally matches everything that led up to it. A great theme about moving past and only looking onward. And when he decides to fight the dragon, mwah! But the problem I mentioned earlier is the way they present this. This is disappointing. Tom Holland has a list of things he wants to do with his dad, but when he is crossing them off in defeat, he realizes through them all with his brother in a series of flashbacks. And I have nothing against flashbacks. I feel like these flashbacks could have been handled a lot better or just removed entirely. Not terrible, but it definitely weakens the movie. That's about how I feel overall about this movie. Onward is a safe movie for Pixar, but it's safe done well. It takes a basic story and does it very well. It's quite fun and entertaining to watch and has a good theme, but it lacks a lot of the polish and twist that can make it a masterpiece. 8 out of 10, great, but flawed. I'd recommend it. I enjoyed it. Go watch it.